So welcome everybody. My name is Ben Galloway here at Greenspring Advisors. This is another community spotlight feature. Today we are highlighting the Greenspring Grant Program for 2020. This year we had the opportunity to work with a number of applicants throughout the Baltimore, Georgia, New Jersey area, focusing on workforce and economic development. And today I have the unique privilege and honor with speaking with Michelle Suazo, the VP of UEmpower of Maryland, specifically the Executive Director of the Food Project, who is one of our grant recipients. They'll be receiving $10,000 to be put to good use. A little bit about UEmpower and how it really aligns here with us at Greenspring. Greenspring is really focusing on improving lives by helping people make better decisions for themselves and the people who depend on them. And we really felt like UEmpower, specifically the Food Project within UEmpower, focuses tremendously on that. They're doing great things. And what the Food Project is focusing on specifically is, culinary training, cooking, nutrition, mentorship. It's an after-school program for inner city youth here in Baltimore. And I'm so excited to talk to Michelle today. And Michelle, why don't I pass the torch to you, and I'd love to learn a little bit more about you, your background, what brought you to the Food Project at UEmpower, and a little bit about the program itself.
Sure. First, I just want to say thank you so much, Ben, for all the support that Greenspring has showed. And it couldn't come at like a better time with everything going on with COVID and just the extra support needed. So thank you again. So my name is Michelle Suazo. I'm the Executive Director of the Food Project here in Baltimore. We are in the zip code 21223, which happens to be the poorest zip code here in Baltimore. UEmpower of Maryland started off here about 6 years ago doing street outreach on the corner of Monroe and Ramsey. And in a given evening, we could serve 150 people out of the back of a truck. And most of the people that were coming were addicted and human trafficking victims. But what really got me were the number of children that were coming to the lines, and some of them were coming by themselves to get dinner. So my mission really became focused towards the youth. And just to take a step back, so because so the mission of UEmpower of Maryland really is to identify the genuine needs of the community. So we don't go into a community saying that we know what it needs. We identify the needs, and then we really work to bridge the resources in order to create solutions for that community. And, by being out there trying to meet the needs of the community of Carrollton Ridge in Southwest Baltimore, we saw the need for the children not only to be fed, but to be given the opportunity for jobs and education on nutrition and sustainable food sources. So we started off trying to figure out how we could do that. By chance, two of the boys in the food line ended up carjacking a councilwoman, and it was a terrible thing, and but nobody had really been paying attention to the neighborhood. So I actually reached out to the councilwoman, Ricky Spector, and asked her to come back to the community and see the needs. And she had been a councilwoman for 40 years and had never been there. And the first time to see the prostitution going on across the street, drug dealings going on in broad daylight, she was really set back. And so and at that time they closed down a school right in the center of the community. So she helped us to fight to get the kitchen and the cafeteria in the center of the community that we serve, so that we really could build a program, specific for the needs of the children and their families to get them on their feet. So,
When did that happen?
so that was about 3 years ago.
Okay.
So we've been operating the food project out of this cafeteria space for 3 years now. And here we're able to bring cooking and farming, restaurant skills, job opportunities, and sustainable food sources, along with mentorship and hope. And it might sound not important, but probably the biggest thing that was missing in the community was a sense of hope. So, why fight for something, or why even feel that you have a voice if there's no sense of hope? So that was really important for us to create here at the Food Project.
Wow. That's really exciting, and something that that resonated, and it sounds like it continues to resonate, is just this idea that being good leaders and examples, people need to be shown examples of how they can have such an important impact within their own community. And the Food Project has been born out of this need for hope, like you said. And when I was doing a little bit of research, I was just seeing a quick line that stuck with me, and I'd love to hear how this kind of sparked, just where this idea kind of came from. Just feeding minds, growing leaders, and together creating our future around the table. And just what that means for UEmpower and the Food Project, and how that resonates and permeates just your organization.
So for us, food was always the connector, right? That's something that brought everybody together at the table. And from there, you get to know people and what their goals and dreams are. And from there, you're able to not only provide job opportunities and social services, but being able to create an environment where you are able to grow leaders. So some of our kids that have been here since the beginning are now our youth leaders. The younger kids look up to them. They see what hard work will get them. And a great example is one of our young men actually came to me with a business plan for a vending machine company, and he's 17 years old. And so here we really want to be able to foster those dreams. So just 2 weeks ago, we surprised him with a vending machine. And so he spent the first 2 days like cleaning it, and then learning how to program it. And the beautiful thing is that, seeing the other kids around him, to see what an investment, now that they're making money, they can take an investment and put it into something that's actually going to grow money. And so it's these moments that make out all the hard work worthwhile for me. And anyhow, I hope to continue that spark within the kids.
Sure. Well, in that vein, I'm curious, there's such an emphasis on economic and workforce development within the Food Project, and the need for those examples like you're suggesting. How are you guys have so much programming going on as well? You're on Instagram Live, you have websites, you've got volunteer hours. What are some of those opportunities and restaurant menu ideas? Talk to me a little bit about that process, how that got started, where those ideas came from, and how you foster that creativity within the community for the kids.
So I think it's interesting because I am a graphic designer by trade, and I was designing cookie packaging. So how I ended up here is sort of crazy, but the fact is that, sometimes maybe being creative allows me to look at problem solving in a different way. And So when we had the opportunity to be gifted a snack company, I said, that's perfect. That brings my two passions together. So now I can not only teach the kids how to make the snack and grow a business, but also teach them about packaging design, marketing. And I don't know if you've seen the Seedy Nutty van lately, but anyhow, so now we have a van that goes out there, and it's a moving billboard, but the kids got to contribute to the artwork on the van. And there's such a sense of pride now. So even for the kids that have come off the street that are now working for the food project, they can go down the street and feel really proud. And the kids on the street, they've got a sense of respect, which is really, really beautiful. You know what I mean?
Ownership.
So one of the mottos on the street is to grind, right? And so the kids asked if we could put that on the van, you know, so the motto of the street is now on the van, and we're just trying to take that energy and bring it into the kitchen. And I think at the end of the day, you're only going to be successful if the community is involved in creating the solutions. And so I've always let the kids know that this is their food project, right? And
very selfless, and helping them take accountability. It's like an accountability exercise, and exercise in responsibility and ownership too, for their own community. And
right.
But very, in a very selfless way, like you said, this is theirs, and
right, that they
you're
have a sense of
facilitating.
ownership.
Mhm.
Exactly. And so it's really beautiful, because, you know, some people say, how can you operate in this neighborhood where there was a shooting 2 blocks this way last week and 2 blocks that way? You know, aren't you scared? Well, at the end of the day, the community rallies around the food project. And, you know, because of that sense of ownership, somebody from the outside couldn't come in and create this.
Right.
You know, this has to be theirs.
Sure. Well, so along that vein of community ownership and just, again, responsibility and examples, I'm curious a little bit about how, you know, and things can change on a dime, like we've seen with COVID, and organizations, families have had to pivot quickly and adapt to a new normal. I'm curious how that has changed within the food project, the need, and also what's been happening in the community that's maybe influencing some of the kids who you're serving within the programming and in the community that they're serving. And not only that they're a part of, but they're serving. So how has COVID
Right.
really impacted that?
Right. My goodness, in the spring, we were getting ready to take Seedy Nutty into the Orioles Stadium. The kids were all geared up to go. And then COVID hit, opening weekend, and everything came to a stop. And I think the hardest part for me at that moment was that I lost 4 of the kids back to the street, because I couldn't hire everybody. I mean, the money stopped. And but very quickly we were able to tap into the list of kids that we were serving in the after school program. So we started to collect who was vulnerable, that's going to need food right now. We reached out to the community association and the pastors to find a list of those that were vulnerable in the community, and sort of switched gears and started creating meals for those people as a way to generate jobs, and also continue to be in touch with the community and make sure that nobody was going, nobody was falling through the cracks. So to the state. We've probably so on a weekly basis now, we're up to 430 meals that we're delivering. And
You're
and
making
then we're
and
also,
delivering.
yeah, hand delivering. So meals that are being made by the community. Actually, here's my delivery driver who who can say hi.
How you doing?
Good afternoon. How are you?
Finding yourself. Good afternoon.
Great.
So 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 anyhow, currently the food project is serving 530 meals a week. They're being produced out of the kitchen by the youth, and then being delivered. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, we also have a pop-up market. And last week, so each week it sort of changes depending on what we get. 2 weeks ago, we actually handed out 43,000 pounds of food. Last week, it was 38,000 pounds of food. But what's beautiful is that the community all comes together to help hand it out, and making sure we have some people that have cars that help us to also deliver and make sure that people aren't being forgotten. I have a wonderful lady, Nellie, who lives 2 blocks away, and we've put her in charge of the line because she knows who needs what. And anyhow, everything just really
good operations.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I'm curious, where does this food come from? Where are you sourcing your food?
So multiple sources. All of my partners are in the food industry. So we had connections with Cisco and PFG and Advantage Waypoint, and they've always given us donations as they've been able to. When COVID hit, it really put a halt to a lot of that. But then the city of Baltimore started donating coastal produce boxes. Savile Food Service just started donating boxes through the end of October. Then we have pastors from Pennsylvania that will call me and say, Michelle, we've got an extra truckload. And that's when we get the really big truckloads of food. The 1 week we had a tractor trailer load of food that was free to this community. And actually it takes me, I have to pull myself back for a moment, because I was like, okay, 6 years ago, we were on the street giving out whatever we could out of the back of the truck. And now we're being blessed with all this food in the center of this community, which is technically the poorest zip code. I mean, you're talking 30% of the families live in poverty. Another 40% over that live in what they call the Alice level, which is they have a job and they're struggling to get by, but still make less than it takes to survive. So you're talking 70% of the families in this community do not make enough to survive. So, so this time especially is so crucial to be able to get the food out there.
Right. Yeah, there's just a tremendous need, obviously. And when there's so much uncertainty and people are they've now come to rely on you guys. And then you've got the kids who are looking to you for mentorship too, kind of navigating all of this. So I commend you all for the work.
Thank you.
And I'm curious now too, what has your expansion looked like over the last 6 years? So you started out delivering food from the back of a van, and based on our conversation before, I'll let you take it, but you've seen incredible expansion, especially recently. That's really getting a lot of attention. You're just trying to keep up with it. What's happening?
Right. So we went from serving 150 people out of the back of a van to serving almost over 12,000 home delivered meals, plus probably over 300,000 pounds of food to the community since COVID hit. And anyhow, and literally, I have so many teenagers that want to work here. I cannot hire all the kids that want to work. But at the end of the day, I think what people need to remember is that when given a choice, people choose a job over going to the corner. It's all about what's accessible here. You know, so many of the families don't have cars, don't have money for transportation. So you have to give them the opportunity here first in order to give them that next step up.
Sure. And what is that next step? What are you seeing that look like for some of your, the youth that's in the neighborhood that have gone through this program? Where are they going? Or what are some of those stories looking like as you look back? What are some of those
Right. So it's always nice for to sort of push the babies out of the nest. Right. So one of our young men went to Bakery Express. If you ask the core kids here now what they envision for their future, they say they see, this is what they said a couple months ago, that they see themselves in a factory side by side with their same friends, building to the next level for Seedy Nutty and the food production. Now, mind you, a couple of weeks ago, LifeBridge approached us and said they just bought a gelato factory and that they wanted to know, would we be interested in expanding the food production over there? So that dream just might come true for them. So, funding, permitting. So now that's what we're looking for, like a 5-year plan of how to take the youth that are doing well here. This is about 10 blocks away to a more professional environment just for food production. So
they can really see their work in action, not just in a kind of a vacuum situation, but in real life, how it applies to them and their careers down the road. And they can learn how to save money, budget appropriately, invest in their own future, and then also be great mentors to those who are coming behind them and next. There's so much pride and hope, like you said, that's really built into this process, and you're seeing that grow. People are thriving on that hope, right? And it's exciting to see. Now, in terms of, you mentioned in the next 5 years, with grants and with with the Greenspring grant that we're so happy to provide to you guys. What's sort of the outlook with some of this funding, either with this or in the future? What's your 5-10 year plan with the food project and UEmpower?
Right. Well, most immediate, the money goes towards paying the youth, because again, I probably hire more kids than are needed for a job just in order to give them a job. And then money also then goes towards, money to buy the food for the meals. And, so going forward, what I see, we're also expanding our educational side. Right now, all of our classes have gone online, but we are now working with a colonel from the Air Force that has developed a virtual system. And so our classes will be going online there, but the classes that we'll be teaching are classes that actually help to research what's going on in the community and come up with solutions. And then, so we would build out that educational part, and then also, continue in this current space to be able to provide, the meals to the community, but then take that next level of food production to the new factory space, and really create. My goal is to create livable wages for our youth leaders. I can't do what I do without them. I count on them every day. And, other volunteers might come and go, but at the end of the day, it's the people working here in the community that make things happen. And so that I want to make sure that they're taken care of and that they have a future. So I'm working really hard on solidifying that 5-year plan for them.
Great. Wow. So building out operations and education so the programming can continue and evolve and again really tackle those challenges that the communities themselves are facing, and then also give the infrastructure, like implementing the infrastructure to really capitalize on that expansion. It's amazing, and it sounds like a lot of work, but it's paying off. It sounds like the fact that there's so much recognition, and the fact that, you know, CD Nutty had great exposure within Camden Yards, and I mean things are moving, the wheels are turning for sure. And as we begin to wrap up here, I have a couple more questions, but first and foremost, I'm sure everybody watching is curious, what are we looking at behind you? You mentioned some graphic design experience of your own, but a lot of ownership too for the kids. I'm wondering what it is we're seeing.
Okay, so right behind me are a lot of the kids that helped to really to start the food project. When we came into this space, it was pretty much a gutted, 40-year-old cafeteria. They helped clean, paint, get everything set up. Most of the equipment here came from the Baltimore Sun, so the kids went with us over to the Baltimore Sun and moved the stuff over here. But, again, it's about taking ownership. So these are our founders up on the wall. But also, part of what was really important for me, for kids in a community that I felt that children were crumbling with the buildings, was for them to have a voice. And by having a voice, gives them a sense of hope. So one of the things we focus on here is healthy voice, and that's what's up on the wall.
Oh, that's awesome. And then lastly, I wanted to ask, so there's a lot of publicity that you guys are getting right now, and it's a lot of self-promotion too, as I see in the hat, the shirt, in CD Nutty. That's going to be a billboard that's driving around. Where should we be looking for that here in the city?
So we are in Whole Foods, okay. And a new Whole Foods opened up in Harbor East, and we actually will be, we'll be part of the holiday campaign. So, please come out and shop for CD Nutty this winter season. And, just help promote local brands. I think that's so important, is to support, the local efforts. Mm-hmm. And
we can find you on Facebook, Instagram, your website, and we can link all of that. But where can we find you, and what's some of the visibility that we should be looking at within the community, and then how can we support you?
Oh, so on a Tuesday or Thursday, you're welcome to come and visit us at one of our pop-up markets. Maybe even come in and buy a snack from the vending machine. Actually, I'll show you real quick. So this is Dion's vending machine here. And you'll see he's selling CD Nutty. He also has some other local brands in there, but he's got his friend CD Nutty at the top, which I think is pretty awesome. Cool.
Wow, that's good representation.
Also, I forgot to mention that the pastors across the street are giving us a brownstone as a location for us to have a permanent pop-up restaurant. So our chef Kat that does the Instagram live cooking classes, that would be a training place for her, for the kids, on fine dining. So it could be a destination spot here in Southwest Baltimore to come and get a beautiful meal prepared by her and the youth.
Wow, amazing. What interesting sort of diversity and depth of experiences for these kids, with pop-up markets, learning how to, you know, not only make the food, but price food to engage with customers, customer relations, and then manage their own business and experience, to enhance an experience that they themselves can own and then share with others. It just sounds like it's evolving into something really unique and profound, and the city is, you know, getting behind you guys, and to have a permanent location sounds really exciting. Just something so different also that many kids anywhere may not ever get to experience, and so to really bring that into their own community, to say this can happen right here, and you can own it, you know, this can be yours.
Exactly. It also goes to show you, when given the resources, kids can do anything, right? It's, you know, so it's all just about opportunity, and we've got a lot of talent here.
Oh, that's great. Well, I know that we are looking to come visit you guys at the food project and help volunteer. Come visit. We'd love a tour. We'd love to meet some of the kids, and we're really excited. We're so happy to be supporting you all, and we're excited to see where this goes. Is there anything you want to leave us with? A quick note, anything we should be remembering on our way out here?
I think,
yeah, I'll give you the final word.
you know, and we'll see where this goes, but, you know, I live 15 minutes from here, and it's so easy to drive past and not even think twice about a community. But I think, you know, in the end, if we want to see real change, it's about everybody just rolling up their sleeves and getting something done. If we all do a little, then we can make a big change.
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you very much, Michelle. So great to talk to you today. So happy to be supporting the food project.
Thank you. We're so appreciative. Thank you.
Not a problem. I'll talk to you soon.